Welcome to another episode of Let's Talk About It Over Cocktails with Carly. I am your host, Miss Carly Baby. Tonight we have Britney H, confidence coach and host of Becoming of Her podcast. You don't want to miss it. Welcome to the show, Brittany.
Hi. Hey, girl. Hey.
I am doing well. How are you?
Amazing.
Good.
Glad to be here. So excited.
So how do you like your wine?
It's hitting.
Okay, so we're doing something a little different today. Usually we do cocktails, but today, you guys, we're doing a little wine, okay?
A little sexy.
A little sexy. And so the wine hits a little different than the cocktails, as we know, but it's still essentially a cocktail at the end of the day, okay? So you look really pretty in your green.
Thank you.
Rocking it.
Yeah, I had to come dress it up, make it real.
Yes, and you look gorgeous.
Thank
you look
you.
gorgeous. So you are from Atlanta.
I am, child.
So you're from Atlanta, but the good thing about it is, I will tell you, being from Atlanta, you got to see what it started to be and what it is now.
Yeah.
Which is really, really, really cool. So how do you feel about like the transplants and everybody coming here, being from Atlanta?
Go home.
Oh, go home. Pack your shit up and go home.
But I understand the point of why so many people come to Atlanta.
Why do you think so many people come?
It's easy to have motion and penetrate circles here in Atlanta. Yeah, and I just think the energy here is different. It's like the Black Mecca, Black Hollywood.
Yes.
Yes. The who's who, a lot of who's who is here.
Yeah.
So, but I just think it's really easy to penetrate the circles.
Yeah.
It's really easy to meet somebody that knows somebody and
Know somebody.
Right.
You're right. It is.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. There are a lot of transplant. I am a transplant. But
you can stay here.
I can stay. Oh, I can stay, you guys. You
Y'all
hear
gotta
that?
go.
The rest of y'all pack your shit and go, because y'all increasing too much of the value, and we need to break it down for a second,
Yes.
and then we need to bring it on up, okay? But yeah. So what have you noticed? Like, so from being a person that is from here, what have you noticed that's changed so much that you don't like?
Okay, so I was talking to this about a friend one time.
Okay.
I feel like one of the biggest things that have changed is like the circles. I feel as if like back in the day, like you have like now you have more like your influencer circle people. You have more like your top real estate agents or
Oh,
circle
Lord have
people.
mercy.
It's like a different circle versus just like maybe the club owners in Atlanta or like your
Right.
celebrities in Atlanta. I feel like that's the biggest thing. I feel like there's more
Clicks.
It's more clicks, yeah.
Yeah. Do you think it's like mean girl and mean guy clicks?
It depends on which clique you're trying to be in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for me, like, I don't really go out as much as I used to.
Why?
I'm glad you asked me that, friend.
Yes.
Because I feel like a lot of the go out scene is very like pretentious now. Like
Okay.
everybody's kind of like overly, exposing like all the brands. Like they got the Gucci, they got
Yeah.
the Balenciaga, they got the this, that. Everything is so
Yeah.
incredibly just like embellished to the point where it's like, jaded. It makes
I
you
would
feel a little
definitely
jaded.
say that too. That
Yeah.
there's definitely been a increase in like the superficialness.
Yes,
if that's even a word.
it is.
But I feel like there has definitely been an increase in it.
I feel that. And I like
Yeah.
nice things. I have designer, but it doesn't make me who I am. I make who I am.
Yeah, of course.
And so I feel like a lot of people in Atlanta, and not everybody, okay, you guys, but
a lot of y'all.
Well, hello. Okay, hello. It's getting started, okay? Hot and heavy. So I do feel like a lot of people feel like these designer labels and getting tables and that pretentious kind of like I want to be important type of behavior has really
Yeah.
like kind of shied me a little away from hanging out just like
Yeah.
that. But I know that the Upper West Side, I know you're laughing, like the Upper West Side. So like the Howell Mill area.
Yeah, that's where
So
I'm at. Yeah.
it's okay. So that area is super duper cute.
Yeah.
I'm loving it because it's giving more contemporary. It's giving more like diversity. I
The
went
area
to the
has came up so much.
Oh my
too.
God.
Yeah.
Even since I've been here in the 16 years I've been here, I've been
love
like,
it.
oh my God, even in the last like 5 years, 4 years.
No, a lot of developments have been going on, and they're
Yes.
continuing building stuff. I love
Yes.
living over there.
So I love how it looks over there. I went to LOA, which is like a rooftop. Girl.
It's giving LA.
It's giving Miami, LA.
It is. I
is
love.
giving.
I cannot wait because they opened it last year towards the end of the summer.
Yeah.
But now it's summertime. It's
I
coming.
went there.
It's gonna be a vibe.
It's oh my God. I went there with some of my friends from LA. They were here a couple weeks ago.
They liked it.
And they were just like, oh, we love it. You know, they're so used to stuff.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
they
yeah.
found, so they always, and which I will say, shout out to Trizzy Trey and his like Kappa's girl, because they came out here. And when I tell you, they create an itinerary before they come out here.
Really?
So it is not like I have to create all these different activities for them. I get to go out.
That's different because if I have a friend in a city, please show me where to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would never, if I have a friend that's living there, like plan my trip for me. So that's different. Okay.
So I went to LOA, okay, and I will tell you guys, it was such a vibe. It was really windy. My hair was really big and curly. I had my sundress on. Like I was sipping cocktails. I was just like, I love it here. Like it didn't even feel like I was in Atlanta.
It didn't. No, it's
I'm
pretty.
noticing what they're doing is it's almost like they're creating like a new environment for us.
They are.
Like right before our eyes.
They are, yeah.
And I'm here for it.
It's sexy. It's definitely in Miami, LA.
Oh my God, girl.
I
And
love
it was
it.
like the highest rooftop like in the Upper West Side. Like it was
is.
super duper high.
That's my area. I be there all the time. Yeah, it's on top of the
yes.
Billiard Hotel.
Okay, yes.
Yep.
And so it was just such, and I would just felt so, I felt beautiful. I felt like the music was flowing.
Yes.
It wasn't like rap or anything, which I love
One
rap.
thing for sure, Atlanta gonna have the vibes.
Right.
And that'd be the problem.
And that's the damn problem. Let's get into too many vibes in Atlanta.
Yes.
And so, yes, so being someone that is actually from here and then seeing the city evolve, and then you're just like, you seeing all these people coming here with all this pretentious type of I want to be seen behavior. And what do you see? What do you say when you see this type of behavior? Because I heard people from Atlanta are just kind of like, cut that out.
When I see it, for one, I just think like you're just doing it either to fit in, right? Or you're doing it to appease like social media. Because I feel like the people who really have it, they don't really be doing all that. They don't really be doing that. And if they do it, they're like in the nightlife industry where it just matches up.
They going out on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
When your ass should be going to work the next day.
Yes. So I just think people do it just
subtle.
Just to kind of fit in. And that's the thing that's dangerous here in Atlanta. I feel it's really easy to kind of fate like if you really got it or not.
Why do you think, you know what, you're absolutely right.
Yeah. Because in certain cities, like, baby, you can't fake like you got it in Miami. You cannot fake like you got it in LA. But the rent is still affordable enough here in Atlanta where you can live in Buckhead, right?
Right.
But if you are like somewhere in Miami where the 1 bedroom may go for like $4K, or you New York City or something like,
or you're not in South Beach.
Exactly. So it's
somewhere else.
Easier. It's a lot easier to, kind of like
fake it and
like
make
fake it. That's dangerous.
It's very dangerous because they'll go and go to a buy here, pay here. Okay, we're about to put y'all up on a little game, okay? So they'll go to a buy here, pay here, buy a car, a Mercedes, okay? Or the Turo, okay?
The Turo.
One of my friends has a Turo business, and he said, you know what? I have one guy that rents out my Corvette every weekend. Every weekend for the next 6 months, he rents it out.
What's wrong with that?
Oh, hello, Trav in the back,
Hi,
you guys.
Trav in the back.
Welcome to the show, Trav in the back.
I'm just curious. If a person is going to a city frequently, wouldn't it make sense if he could drive a car that he's comfortable with?
It is, however, there's a caveat to it.
Uh-oh. Caviar?
The caveat.
Caveat.
The caveat, not the caviar.
Oh, gotcha.
The caveat to it is the fact that, hold on, we're going to get all the way into it, okay? Is the fact that, is it your car? Are you perpetrating like it is your car?
Because we love men. Or because men love in part,
right?
Because the thing is, men know how to curate the vibes to get the women.
They do. They're professionals.
And I don't know if it's our fault that we be like, oh,
So I think we have shared responsibility.
we do.
I do blame it on if he ain't really got it, or if he does have it, and he's using it. Look, Trav quickly got back on the mic, girl.
I mean, what y'all saying is interesting. Shouldn't a man know how to? I feel like you said curate the vibe or some shit like that.
Yes.
But shouldn't he?
So I think.
Do you want to be with somebody that's boring? Absolutely not. I answered that for both of y'all.
He just knows.
Like, but I believe y'all don't though. Y'all want a man to give you an experience.
I would like a man to give me an honest experience.
I was just about to say that. Please give me a real experience.
So, okay.
If you're touring out a car every week, that's not really your life unless you tell me, this is not my car. I love it. I don't want to buy one, but I want to rent one every weekend.
Right.
At the very least,
Carly.
I know that you got the means to be able to rent this car out every weekend. You're being very honest with me.
So you're saying
And I
if
can
you're
respect
local, if you're local and you're doing this, not if you live out of town.
I think that if you're a local and you're doing it, it's a little weird.
Yeah.
If you like the car that much, just go ahead and buy it.
So you don't see anything wrong with a man that doesn't live here that comes into town and wants to drive the same car.
No, as long as he's honest.
But if he
honest.
live, okay, I got you. So he has to be honest with letting you know that he lives here. That he
No,
doesn't live
Well,
here.
yes, he needs to be honest with all of that.
Gotcha.
He doesn't live here, number one, because I need the deciding factor as to if that's something I want to do. Do I want to date someone that doesn't live here? And then, okay, so once we get past that, do I want to date somebody that's touring out a car every
And
week?
let's just be real. He didn't get that car just because. Because you
Okay.
could have got a little Honda.
Circle it back, friend.
Because you could have got a little Honda. So my thing is, when you're not detailing and telling the truth, right? Because we know y'all doing it for the attention for us.
So let's
what
talk
other
about
reason
it.
are you doing it?
Let's talk about it. Are they doing it for themselves, or are they doing it? Are they doing it are men getting cars and having all this exterior to stunt on other men, or are they trying to pursue and find a woman that will be lured by these materialistic goods?
And see, and they be so mad when they attract a certain type of female. But yes, they do it.
So they do
They
it.
do it for us.
So
I
you
mean,
think, so
unless
the
they're doing it for,
I mean, they may have an alternative lifestyle, or they could be doing it for everybody.
But I think it's just it's a representation thing, right? So we associate these jewelry and certain brands and driving certain cars and living in
With
certain
success.
areas with success. So but then the girls go wrong because we're not really, when the girls don't really vet the man. And you making these assumptions like, oh, he has on this, or he drives this, or he lives that he's paid, and that becomes,
it's conflicting because it's a lie, okay? And so so my thing is, listen, we all like nice things. I get it.
yeah, of course.
I don't mind if a man is honest with me, but I'm gonna be honest. I know when a man's got his stuff together.
Yeah.
Because first off, me personally, I'm not really attracted to the dude that's super flashy.
Same.
Because I feel like if you're being super flashy, you're hiding something. Maybe low self-esteem, maybe the fact that it's really just not yours. But you can tell, like you mentioned, or was it Trav that mentioned, you can tell when a person really has it, and they're just being being themselves.
Yeah.
And so I think that there has been a huge line in the sand of either men that actually have it and that do not.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's a lot of that's going on in Atlanta, and a lot of girls are being tricked.
Have you ever been tricked? Oh, friend, tell us about it. Oh my gosh, she's been tricked, you guys.
Yes, in my younger years, not in my big age.
Okay, that's
I'm
fine.
30 now.
Come on, big girl.
Big age. Yeah, but definitely in your younger 20s, when you like experience.
Girls and women in their 40s are still getting tricked. These guys have no cap.
Honestly, they deserve it now. If they are still being tricked.
Or are the men getting more savvy?
No.
You got to remember, we're in the times.
When are you going to learn from the mistakes?
This is true.
When you're going to step back and be like, damn, how did I get in this position?
So imagine if a guy twirls out a car. He always has it every time it's time for you to go out. You don't know. He Airbnbs a place. Trav, you and I talked about this before. He Airbnbs a place. So you're going to a place where he's pulling up in his garage. He's got a home. He's comfortable. His friends are coming over. You don't know. he could Airbnb that. Actually, I think that was online. I think I saw something like that.
No,
Because
it
the woman was
happened.
like, I was tricked and I didn't believe that was, I thought that was his place. But
Right.
realistically speaking, it wasn't his place. It wasn't his car. He was wearing faux designer.
Yeah.
So people can literally, I think we are now in this phase of life where people can
Could
perpetrate
and paint certain things.
at the highest perpetrativity.
Yeah.
And we would never fucking know.
Yeah, I think honestly women need to give themselves a little timeline.
Oh, I like that.
Give yourself a timeline.
Stop jumping.
Stop jumping. Stop, you know.
Just because he's
Just
pulling up in a
moving.
Bentley, like
Just
find
because
out
he
a little
moving
bit
in
about
Bentley,
him.
Vet. And that's something that I'm still learning myself, that take your time vetting people. Like really get to know
Yeah.
them and pay attention to habits.
So habits are very important.
Pay attention to habits.
Yes. So tell me, when you got tricked, what was the experience? Tell us about that.
He had like a nice car. He didn't even live here in Atlanta, but he would be back and forth staying with a friend, but his friend wasn't based here in Atlanta, so he was never home. So it was a
Okay,
really,
that's
really
believable.
Yeah, it was a really, really nice house, but he would just be in and out the city. Pretty much didn't have a place, just didn't have his own place, didn't have his own car, kind of like just going with the motion. Just a dusty. Just a dusty, but just because of what he portrayed it, and I just think because of my lack of experience.
Right. I mean, it's fair.
Yeah,
It happens.
It's just like my lack of experience, and
Yeah.
you're in this house. I'm always there. I'm thinking it's yours. You're pretending like you have this going on, that going on. It's really easy.
Of course. And that's not any fault of yours.
Yeah.
You didn't ask to, number one, be there in that space, in that
Yes.
situation, but you also didn't know because you were believing him.
Right.
So how did it unfold for you?
Honestly, I honestly think the women, we have to put the man through a test. I needed his assistance with something.
And he couldn't.
He couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. I think I asked for like $300 or something.
And that's nominal. That's minimum amount.
And he couldn't do it. So someone that's living in this.
So how did he, I don't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah.
How did he say he could? Did he say he don't have it?
You know he did. I don't got it right now.
Ah! Trav, he said he don't have it right now.
He was honest.
Yeah.
He wasn't honest about that lifestyle.
So did you
though.
feel like he should have had it based off of how he lived?
Yeah, because let's just be honest. You just don't work. You just don't accidentally land like in like a mansion.
Oh, so he was in basically a mansion.
Yes.
And he was
It was
he
a
was
friend.
perpetrating that
Yes.
this was.
That isn't something you just don't accidentally land in like
Hey,
a
y'all,
house.
check this out. I read an article where somebody sent me an article. I sent it to Carly, where it said 70% of millionaires live check to check because of their expenses.
Yeah.
I can see that.
I mean,
Because
you
they have because most of them spend way too much money.
That's
so
the
they be
problem.
looking for that next check. They gotta have that next check. If they don't get that next check that they're used to, it's gonna be a
Well, a
problem.
lot of us do. Like you can make six figures. Like we had the poll on the show. So we had a poll that we put on the show page and then on my personal page, and it was, is $10,000 after taxes enough for one man to sustain a household of two people, husband and wife?
That wasn't the question.
It was essentially.
It wasn't.
And so a lot of people. So we were tied where it was either get your money up or yes, that's enough.
Okay.
So
What do most people say?
So most people said it was at first it was get your money up.
Yeah.
And then it kind of took the lead where it was like, yes, it's fine, like that can work for me.
Yeah.
And so my thing is there's a couple. So my thing is after the bills are paid, because we actually went to the Dogwood Festival.
Oh, okay.
And me and my
okay.
girlfriend, and we talked about this like in a group of people.
Okay.
And some women were okay with it, and some people were not. The men were not okay with it, but the women were, oddly enough. And so, of course, the woman wouldn't work, but the man would be the person bringing home the money. And so, literally, the question stays the same. It's not she works and we have kids. It literally is it okay between two men, a man and a woman, after all the bills are paid, like, can you survive off of that?
Yeah.
And I said, no, I'm not comfortable with all the bills being paid. I think it was a little under $3,300 or $3,200 in their checking account. We're not talking about savings. We're not talking about credit cards. We're talking about literally in that checking account $3,300 that was left over after bringing home 10 grand and paying all the bills. And I was like, that was not getting nails done. That wasn't shopping. That wasn't vacations. And that wasn't incidentals. And I was like, I don't feel comfortable with that.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like a man that is living in this huge house,
Yeah.
$300, you have to just, to me, it's a mindset thing,
Yeah.
right? That if you don't have enough security to give $300, it just says a lot about your financial standing.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was just kind of like.
So when he said it, what did he say to you?
He was just like, I have a lot of things going on right now. I just can't do it. And he didn't promise like in the future, like I can or anything like that. And I was young. I really needed help.
Right.
Like I really, I think it was like 22. I really was going through something.
Right.
And he said he couldn't do it.
Had you guys had sex?
Yes.
Oh.
And that's why I felt the worst.
Right.
That's
because you felt
like I want my coochie back.
Right. Give it back to me. I'm gonna rip it off.
I want my coochie back.
So that is something. So Trav in the back, I have a question for you. It's all relative. A woman that you are involved with sexually, can she ask you for money, and will you give it to her? I'm sorry.
So,
I said I plead the fifth.
Sometimes, yes. It just depends on. It depends on how I feel about her. To be honest with you, because just because we're having sex, doesn't. You don't use everybody everybody that cheeks I bust don't get the same feelings out of me. I mean, that's the best way I can say it.
What if she doing extra? She do some extra stuff. Does that matter?
Okay, so first of all, I should have said this. I feel like if we're having sex, it's an equal exchange.
Is it an equal exchange, Brittany?
That's how I feel about myself, though, and how I perform.
So,
you know what I'm saying? I don't know about another.
That's how I perform.
You know what I'm saying? It's an equal exchange. And I'm gonna say this. Hold on, Brittany. I'm gonna say this.
Okay.
It's it might sound a little crazy. Y'all might not like what I say, but it's a question actually. What makes your vagina more valuable than my dick?
It's the power of the P.
It's the power of the D. That motherfucker be on your head. You know what
Trav,
I'm saying?
keep it cute.
Even though
0
you
to
can
7,000.
look,
Here we go.
you know
Here we go.
You can smother me. You can smother me. You feel me? But I'm just saying, no, it's an equal exchange of intimacy.
You want? Go ahead, Brittany. You want?
And if it's not, then you need to be saying that up front. Like I need them 40. You feel me?
But that's prostitution.
Or them 40,000 or whatever you might need.
So just like I said earlier, vetting is really, really, really important. To me, I don't want to lay down with anybody where I need something. I need to at least feel comfortable to ask you, where I'm not gonna feel weird and where he wouldn't even look at me weird.
So how did it make you feel when you asked him for the $300 and he was like,
Girl,
I ain't got it?
Stupid.
And
because it's just like, well, if I can't depend on you.
So you feel like, and this is a fair statement. So you feel like if I'm laying down with you and I'm giving you my body, I should at the very least be able to rely on you if I need to.
Yeah, that's my standard. Some women,
I can understand that.
You know, like some women, they're just for the moment.
Should the man be able to rely on you?
It depends on the relationship.
Yeah, in this season.
So it shouldn't be in the relationship for you too. Look,
in this season, yes, but the men I attract and date, they don't ask me for money.
Most men aren't going to ask a woman for money unless that was his intention from the jump.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So
that doesn't be it. But all the other things that people talk about on Red Pill podcast, all those things, you can get all that from me. But my thing is security. Okay, every man. You have to make a woman feel security.
I want to feel safe.
I want to feel safe.
And I don't want to feel like I'm giving my body to somebody that I can't feel safe with. I think that's what it comes down to.
And it's just to me, it's sexy when a man can problem solve.
Oh my God. Isn't it?
Yes.
When a man is if I tell a guy that I'm actively and truly pursuing and he's pursuing me, if I'm having a conversation with him, I want him to be attentive. So if I say, oh my God, if he knows that I have to travel and use my car for work, and I'm like, oh man, I gotta go. I saw this light on my dashboard. I want him to take the initiative and say, well, what was the light?
Exactly.
Well, okay,
Exactly.
well, go in and like, how can I help you?
Exactly.
You know, because he cares about my well-being.
Exactly.
And I don't think that should be portrayed as someone that's being a gold digger or somebody, because again, this person is someone that I'm actively pursuing and they're actively pursuing me.
No, exactly.
It shouldn't have to be your wife that you help. Hello.
No, I think just as women, we have PSA to all the girls.
Talking to the camera. Let them know, girl.
PSA to all the girls, you're failing us with your low standards. Okay? You're failing us with giving the coochie, we're requiring very little. You're failing us where you don't uphold your standards and you let anyone treat you any kind of way. And
come on, sis.
It's costing,
Come on, sis.
And it's costing real bitches like me.
Hello, and me too.
And her.
Put me in the camera.
Okay,
Hello.
and we meet men who think that they can get away with certain things because you guys have poor pussy management.
Let me say something.
And I'm upset about
I have
it.
a reply about that. I have absolutely to say to that. So women that are like that also upset men because we want wives. If I know you a bust down or something like that, if I know you've been busy, so I'm gonna treat you. I don't want to treat you the same way everybody else has, but I am because I already know. Like sometimes you can feel a chick energy. Like she done had too many bodies. She do too long. She do too much. I'm sorry, I got tongue tied.
What does that mean?
What you mean?
If she's had too many bodies, how can you tell?
Man,
It's an energy.
It's an energy, and it's how they
energy.
move, and it's certain things that they do. If she's trying to lick the gooch the first night, that's a problem because she done licked a lot of gooches.
Probably the
You
one
know
the
what
day
I'm saying?
before.
Like she used to licking gooches. She used to a little hair on her
So
tongue.
if a woman-
You feel me?
There you go.
But she done had pink eye 2-3 times.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So if a woman is too promiscuous initially, is that a turnoff for a man?
It can be. It can be.
Percentage-wise.
Maybe 50%. You know what I'm
Damn,
saying?
so
Because
that's a huge, that's half and half.
I know some brothers that'll be like, man, I don't really care. You know what I'm saying? I kind of need her to be freaky anyway. You know what I'm saying? I don't care.
And no, but are they thinking of white
how many
people
babies
up?
she done swallowed? Don't matter. You know what I'm
She
saying?
a baby mama.
She got a whole goddamn cemetery in her stomach. You feel me? But to each his own.
They
though.
come out. It's okay.
But I mean, men don't want a woman that moves how you were just saying, Brittany. So it's a red flag.
So why,
for us.
if you're saying that, then why are men so quick to jump in bed or want you to jump in bed or be kissy face with you when they want wives, but they want to be very promiscuous immediately?
I mean,
when you sexy.
Listen.
Hello.
I would love to show up for work and not do anything and get the benefits.
Oh. Okay.
I would too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Wouldn't we all?
So that's the thing. Like, I feel like it's very easy. Like, why wouldn't a man want to deal with a woman where nothing is really required for him to show up and to drop the
And that's the problem, because these
I'm trying to
guys,
tell you.
they go get these cars and they go do all this stuff, and they know exactly what they're doing. So that actually kind of answers the question initially. Like, these men know exactly what they're doing. As the women, let's be accountable here. We know what we do, but the problem is that I think the dating world is so incredibly oversaturated with both women that are upstanding, that want something real, and women that are hoes. And we look the same, unfortunately. And so there's no way for men to decipher the difference between a woman that just wants them for what they have and a woman that's upstanding.
I would say this is that I feel like in Atlanta, the men who have money, especially if they just starting to get their money.
Girl, new money is the worst.
New money is the worst, is that these women do not want you.
They want your money.
They want what you have. And I think like guys, they know that, but they don't truly like understand that. Like we as women can feel that energy off you.
Yeah.
Like when a man is like really producing and having his way, there's just a certain aura that he has. And that's another thing with the guy that wasn't able to give me the money. To me, it's just like, well, looking back now with the wisdom that I have, it's like, as a man, how can you really be out here in the world
In the streets.
In the streets having sex and focus on having sex with me when you don't have $300 to give.
Right.
How do you feel safe? Like that is why are you operating like that?
So I think that people prematurely date.
Yes.
I think that unfortunately what happens is everybody wants somebody.
Mm-hmm.
They want to feel wanted. They want to feel needed. They want sex. They want something, right? So they prematurely date.
Yeah.
They live in with their mamas or their friends or they have roommates. And I feel like when you get to a certain point in your life after college, you should not have roommates. You should never be a grown man with a roommate. Trav, would you agree? Do you think that men should have roommates, or is it okay?
At a certain age, I feel like you shouldn't.
What is the age? 25?
No, I would say about 30. Yeah, about 30 years old.
Okay, I'm going to tell you.
You're in your 20s, that's not bad.
I think that once you're done with college, and or if you didn't go to college and you are working a regular bona fide job, I think you should focus. If you're trying to date seriously and be with women and having responsible sex, I think that you should have your place. If you're having sex with someone, you should have your place.
So how many people under 30 are actually having responsible sex, though?
Well, a lot of them are not, and
most of them.
I'm a little.
You know what I'm saying? I'm going to go ahead and say under 45 for real.
No.
Shit, under 50.
Yes, Brittany.
No, as in I like yes, and I agree.
You agree, exactly.
It's crazy.
I think it's ridiculous. I think it's absolutely ridiculous that people have irresponsible sex. Irresponsible sex is someone that does not have their platform, their financials together.
I got a question.
Somebody that doesn't have their mindset together. Somebody that's just trying to bust a nut. Because what happens is when you have irresponsible sex, you end up having children.
I got a question.
And
I got a question
so
for y'all ladies.
it evolves from there, but don't have irresponsible
even down
sex.
to the physical act of itself. I swear to you, 80% of men will if you let them, they would not use condoms.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Trav and I talked about this.
Literally, there's only a few men, maybe 3 that I can count in my experience where it's not even like they don't have to think about it. Other men, you're like, hey, so can you put it on?
Oh wow.
First time too, not like after a couple times, like literally no paperwork, no discussions.
Well,
nothing.
you know, this region of the country has the highest STD.
I know.
Results.
I know. It's
So I think, but it's not just men to blame. Women are also busting that thing wide open, knowing that they got some
poor pussy management.
Right, poor pussy management. They've got some unresolved issues. And so, Trav, you said you had something in the back.
Yeah, actually, so if you had a choice between the two, which one would you go with?
Here we go.
A guy that had a roommate or a guy that still lived with his parents?
So can we
And you can't do nothing. You got to choose one. At your age, at the age you are right now.
Why you do me like that?
If the guy that you liked,
that's one of my questions.
If the guy that you wanted, he was in one of these situations. He had a roommate or he lived with
Trav,
mama.
You got to give us a little more. Can't give
you a little more. That's
listen,
it right there. It's either
is he a business owner? Is he living with his parents because they're
we don't even
old?
know. We don't know. You just met him like this. You just met these two guys.
This.
You met two guys. One of them was living with a roommate.
I would say
one of them
roommate.
had a parent. The roommate.
Because you know what?
He got a little more privacy.
A lot of my white counterparts do that.
A
lot of them do
you're
that.
right. So,
I have like one of my closest guy friends. He has a lot of friends who are white guys, and these guys have awesome jobs, but they're in Miami, like living as roommates.
Yeah, that's how it is in DC too. Like
So, like honestly and truly, if there's no pressure for you to be on your own.
But is that necessarily not being on your own though? Because I mean, you paying your own bills.
I'm gonna be honest,
just splitting bills.
I don't
with
want neither one of them.
Yeah.
You don't want, but if you had to choose one, which one you gonna go with?
You can't do the parents.
You're gonna be by yourself, huh?
I'm by myself right now.
Well, he like
I will hold out for the right one, okay? Because no, you don't get this. You don't get. I'm not a roommate type girl, and I'm not a live with your parents.
It's just because
type
you
girl.
feel like he can't, like, he just can't afford it, or he just
Well,
don't? What you
I feel like I was able to raise a whole person and
Okay.
and be on my own.
Okay.
Okay, and deal with
The nigga mama like, y'all too loud.
Oh hell no.
I've been through that. But I was a teenager. I was like in high school, and my grandma going
that
off.
explains. That's
You're
fine.
a teenager.
You know what I'm saying?
But
She going
being
off.
in your
She like,
30s
man,
and
that girl done
40s
fucked my bed up. All kind of shit. She going off, man. Grandma
Being
was
with
here,
your
man.
parents is the worst.
I'm not doing that.
Honestly, unless you're kind of going through this phase of I'm like seriously trying to save, or or something like that.
So that's understanding. That's what I'm saying. Like, if I understand, if there's additional context to it, then I'll be able to assess. But frankly, I'm not interested, and I don't even attract
I
men
literally
like
thought
that.
about like staying, moving back home for 3 months, just because I want to like travel and live in other countries where I don't have to worry about rent. Just for a couple months.
I feel like that's different too.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's being still responsible because you're making a plan.
Yeah.
And you're
but I
intentionally.
definitely, because I honestly feel like it's a blessing to have the option to go back home if you really want to. If you need to. I don't think just how I like to live, I couldn't stay with my parents. But I would just hope that there's a bigger plan behind it. But I'm gonna have to see him after that. Because I can't come to your mom's.
I'm not coming to your mom's, and I'm definitely not coming and sitting on a roommate couch. So that's that on that with me. I'm not doing it, and I'm just not going to be with anybody if I have to do that.
Okay.
But I mean, I know it was.
I can't see you see that. I can't. Even I just met you. Like, I cannot see you going to. You'll be like.
I'll be like.
I can see you like.
No, it's not even the type
the
of
roommate
man.
walking in shirtless. You're like.
And I'm just like, what am I? A fucking floozy? Like. What am I, a side chick? Like, absolutely not gonna happen.
Yeah,
Okay,
I can't see
talk
you
about
doing
me in
that.
the comments. So let's talk a little bit, guys. I left my card at home, so don't judge me. So I'm gonna be a little what did we call it earlier?
We're improvising.
We're improvising today. So Brittany, Miss Brittany, Miss Brittany Boo, Brittany Ow, Brittany Wow.
Ow.
Okay. So dating in your 30s. Let's talk about it. So let's talk about dating in your 30s. How is dating in your 30s?
I feel like I have to be mature now.
But you have a natural mature type of air about yourself.
Thank you.
Not old, mature.
But I literally feel like now I have to be completely done with my hoisms.
Not necessarily. They're hoeing at 40, so.
I really feel like I have to now be very, very mature into just what I'm doing.
Intentional,
yeah. And just because I just think now I'm looking at things, and I hate like it has to be at 30.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, oh my God, well, I want to have kids. I still don't have kids.
Yeah, it's okay.
I don't have kids. It's like, okay, well, I want someone. But I don't want it to feel like I'm just interviewing all these men that I meet.
So let me tell you, it is okay. Okay, number one, you're in your early 40s, and it is okay that you are not, you haven't had a baby yet. You're not, you're not with anybody per se. That's okay, and you have plenty of time. Okay, Halle Berry had a baby almost at 50. Number one, so
yeah, she
not
did.
to say that you want to wait until you're 50, but it's still possible.
Yeah.
In this day and age, you definitely want to make sure that you're procreating with the person that's ready to procreate and that wants the same things that you want.
Yeah.
So you have plenty of time. I will tell you this. You definitely want to make sure that you're meeting somebody that wants a family. So you have plenty of time.
Yes, and that's the thing is that knowing to meet somebody that is aligned with you. And I feel like that's the thing is that you don't want anyone to waste your time, and you don't want to waste somebody else's time.
Right.
And you have to take full accountability at that. Versus like in your 20s, I feel like you just had that leeway to kind of test and explore and do different things. But definitely in my going into 30s, I just feel like I have to hold myself more accountable. And because the thing is, men will give you any kind of vibe that you want to be on. So
they're like, what you want, hookah? Weed?
Like what you want? You want a vibe. You want a situation. You want to. So you have to really be mindful of that and just to operate in what you really want.
Right.
You know, and then sometimes I'm not going to lie, it's just more fun just having a vibe. Sometimes.
Right. So do you want a real relationship?
I do.
Do you want to get married soon?
I do want to get married.
Okay. And so how many kids do you want to have eventually?
2.
Okay.
Yes.
That's
I want to have 2 kids.
I love it. I'm here for it.
Yes.
I'm here for it. And so I think that I've been married before and I have a daughter.
Okay.
And so I think it's a beautiful thing. I believe in love. I believe that it exists. I know there's a lot of fuck boys out there, but it still does exist.
Yeah.
And so it's all about intention. It's in the way that you carry yourself and the people that you meet, the places you go. But it's out there. And I've learned that more so now than in the last, like, I want to say 2 years, there's a lot more men that are interested in relationships now than the city. Yeah, I would say. I believe that there are a lot more men that are interested in pursuing true relationships because they're also getting older. They also don't want to raise kids in their 50s and 60s, you know, but the problem is some of us women are just stuck in city girl mode. And so I think that we are kind of trying to balance each other out, but nobody trusts anybody anymore because of social media. You don't know. You're like, okay, well, she's dressed like that, but is she a hoe? But then you may be like, I'm just dressed like this because I like this dress and I look good in it because I have a nice body and I'm a great person. So I need you to just know my mind first.
But you know what? I really feel as if the way that you represent yourself publicly as a woman is really important.
It is, absolutely.
I really had to just clean up my Instagram, especially like to the spaces and everything that I'm going in, just with the podcast, the coaching and everything. Just actually this guy that I was dealing with, he is a doctor and he was telling me like, you know, you look good, but your pictures are, you know, were giving like a little
sexy,
a little too sexy. But I mean, that's part of me. Like, that's my nature. Like, I am sexy,
right?
But it's just like I do think women have to just understand, like, if you want to present it in a certain way, the type of man that you want, what woman, like, how does she dress,
right?
And the duality of it, like, can she show up to the business meetings? Can you be sexy in the club, the birthdays? Can you be around the company meetings?
Right.
So it's just duality. I feel like women, we have to practice the duality of it all.
We need to practice being classy and tact.
I want classy to come back, like how the city girl vibe was. Can we have a classy girl era?
So that's a part of my initiative, Change the Narrative.
Yes.
I have to tell you more about it, but it is basically an entire pivot. With women that look like you and I. Because we are constantly projected and we project ourselves as over-sexualized beings. We're not, you know, we put ourselves out there like we are down for whatever. You know, men have over-sexualized us, but we've done it to ourselves as well.
We have.
So I have an initiative. It's called Change the Narrative. And we're changing the narrative. We are smart. We're educated. We're beautiful. We're sexy. We got a little city girl in us too.
Oh, yeah.
But we know how to use it, and we know our superpower. And so it's really fun. It's really cool. And I'll tell you more about it because I think I would like for you to be a part of it.
Oh, I would love to. Absolutely.
Yes.
And that's the thing I feel like in Atlanta is that you have to decide, because Atlanta is a city where whatever vibe you're on is going to be on for you.
Yes.
So
I would agree.
There's a place, probably like any other area in the world, but there's a section for whatever you want to be. And it's just like the type of vibe that you're putting out there as a woman. You're going to meet that man.
You are. You're going to meet a lot.
Yeah, you're going to meet that person. So I just think women, we have to understand like just how to move out here in the streets.
Yeah. I mean, I think it really relies on the mindset and staying in your truth. And I think that if many more women kind of less portrayed the city girls and more so portrayed like the Claire Huxtables with a twist. And nobody's saying you have to be like an L7, which is a square.
Yeah.
But
you don't want to be a 304.
You don't want to be
which is a hoe.
Ah, what is a 304?
Yeah, the 304.
I've never heard that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What is that? I heard of the
304. Okay, apparently you put, this is where it comes from. When you put 304 in a calculator, you flip it upside down.
Oh, it does say hoe.
It looks
You're
like
right.
hoe.
Yeah, that's also like you mess around and get demonetized on YouTube for saying hoe, so they say 304.
304, yeah. And that's been like a really big topic in in the YouTube podcast streets in these past couple of months is 304 culture. A lot of people have been talking about 304.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we want to
it's
do
rampant
without.
up in
It
our
is.
culture.
Yeah,
Really
right now.
bad. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's really bad. And so, my goal is to change it one narrative at a time.
Yes.
And so we could be classy, we could be smart, we could be educated, we could be attractive, we could be, we can be, a freak in the sheets, but a woman in the streets.
Absolutely.
Like, we need to bring that back, and it's okay. You don't have to wear lingerie outside, okay?
Yeah.
If you do want to wear, a short and backless or a tight dress, and that's fine. But it's all about how you carry yourself.
No, exactly. And you know what, Carly? I noticed something. I did a little research, right?
Tell me about the research, sis.
So I was online. I was looking at some of some people I not personally know, but some 7-figure men, right?
Yeah.
Most of their wives are just your average pretty
ladies.
Don't have the big old
right. They're
and
not all embellished,
super sexy and super. They're just your regular, look like moms and wives and everything. Like these are just regular, just women. I never see the girls who we say like are the influencers, like your Aries or your Jadas.
Do you know why?
All those are baby moms.
Do you know why? I can tell you why.
What's up?
Tell us why.
Because they don't get a certain amount of attention. That's why. So the woman the women that these guys are marrying, they don't get a certain amount of attention. So
y'all feel like that's safer to go for?
That is safer to go for because they could be less likely to have a lot of experiences.
You know what? That's very interesting that he says that, and I wholeheartedly believe that because I did see something where Blueface said his next woman is not going to be on Instagram. Lil Tay Tay said the same thing, like my next woman is not going to be on Instagram. And I get it because now that's the new wave where you don't want a woman that's oversaturated, and and I get it because they become not real women.
Cause I literally went on a date recently with this guy who's a manager of a artist he's a pretty popular artist, but he was saying to me, he was just like, yeah, I guess he thought like I was a little different than what he would normally go for, so he felt like it was safer. And I said I'm not safe, like I'm not one of those girls. But I know people here in Atlanta, but he just thought like, I guess deviating from the norm would be like a little more, but he literally said that like, yeah, I'm just kind of, like he don't want like the instant IG baddie.
Gotcha.
Or the, like
he wants that. He wants what Trav was talking about.
Yeah. He literally said that, but I feel like, I don't know, like men, like y'all, they run through the girls, right? Like that, and then all of a sudden you want to switch up the narrative. You want to switch up the narrative, and like,
I think that's exactly what it is. I think that it becomes what happens is it gets a little oversaturated because there's only so many girls with the embellished bodies, and there's so many, and so that they want to be with because they're just like whatever. But I want to get into
a lot of those women have no substance, also.
I would agree. I've heard that before.
I've heard none whatsoever. They don't even know what they like outside of makeup.
Well, because they spend so much time like perfecting their bodies to where they're they're not as intelligent, and the men realize that, gosh, you're really good to look at, and my boys I like my boys to see that I'm with somebody like that. But realistically speaking, you really just don't have much substance. So I wanted to ask you a question. Speaking thereof, so being in the same space with women that have enhancements, it does spark a little bit of jealousy. So we've talked about this off camera, offline. And so you are a natural body, but you're very voluptuous. You're very sexy and curvy.
Thank you.
And so...
That thing back though.
Sir, keep it cute. What is this camera? He had the boom mic and the camera, okay? So I wanted to know, how does that make you feel? Like, you have friends in your circle that have had enhancements. You are someone that does not have enhancements. But the men tend to like you more. How does that work? It strikes up jealousy. It's friction.
So, to me, I feel as if women do themselves a disservice trying to shortcut things.
Oh. Hello.
Yeah. So I work out at least, well, now it's kind of low. It's like 3 times a week. But when I'm really dedicated, it's like 5 times a week.
Oh, wow. That's dedication.
And I've lost like a lot of weight. And it's not easy, like being disciplined in a gym like that.
I know.
And I would say this is that bodies can be brought, but health cannot.
Right.
You cannot buy being healthy.
Right.
And just the traits that you gain, like being disciplined and taking care of your diet and your body, it don't exchange just being with the body, with just buying a body.
Right.
And I just think too, like you have to ask yourself, like, what are you doing it for?
Well, they're doing it for men, but go ahead.
Obviously, right? But see, the thing is,
who's got it's like the challenge of who's got the biggest ass.
But then it's just like, but you got this snatch waist now, but does it now mean that you're going to attract a quality type guy?
I think that what happens is it attracts the quality men that they want. So it is, guys want the women with the biggest ass. Trav, you've said, in the past, damn, she cool, but she got a big old ass. So women tend to, look, he's laughing. Women tend to, they like it. It's almost like the girl with the pretty face or the pretty smile. She's got the girl with the big ass. And so men want to be attracted to, men like it and women know that. So they want men to be attracted to it. So how does that, okay.
But the thing is, like, a lot of women are not even, like, ready to be responsible for their new ass.
Well, tell us about, what does that mean?
Okay, so growing up, I've always been, like, curvy, right? But when you have a body, like, your shape, and it's just
got a little something.
Your shape, it's just like, there's going to be a level of attraction to you, and you have to learn how to decipher through that.
Right.
And I feel as if, growing up, I've had a certain shape, so you kind of understand and know it's like the men who they just lusting for you, right? Versus like the women, it's like you just wake up with a new body, but there's like a psychological shift with that too. And a lot of women don't think about that. Like,
well, I think that what happens is there is a psychological shift, and it's a shift of an abundance of confidence. And so I think what happens is the self-love takes place of the abundance of confidence takes place of the self-love. So they think just because they got this embellished body that they love themselves and they're so attractive and they're so sexy. And yes, it does affect their self-esteem. They are. But then what happens when you go get this whole body, you spend $15,000, $20,000 on this new body, and you don't get the nigga that you want?
And that's the thing, because like I just
that
said,
happens often.
I have noticed that a lot of women who do that, like,
right.
I don't know if your result isn't marriage or just to maybe be in proximity of a certain man.
Maybe
like,
it's just money.
And if you want to be that kind of girl, shouts out to you.
Right.
But to me, long term, that wouldn't work for me.
So what happens to the women in your circle or that you've been exposed to that know that you have a natural body, they went and got enhancements, and the guys are more interested in you?
In my circle, I haven't personally dealt with that.
Okay.
Because I think people still just like what they like.
Okay.
But I've heard of stories.
Okay.
And it's kind of like, it'd be like a competition within the circle.
How do you respond to that?
You couldn't be in my circle with that type of attitude. It's negative.
Yeah.
And it's just like, at the end of the day, how I look at it, if my girlfriend, one of my girlfriends,
right,
she's dealing with somebody and she has access to something, that mean the whole squad got access to
right.
it. That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
And if you're not moving like that with me, then I can't fuck with you.
So how does it feel for a woman to have this? You have a natural body, you're curvy, but then you have the girl that doesn't have a natural body, and she comes in and the guys are like on her. Does it make you feel any sort of way? Has it ever made you?
No, I just think women have to understand men just like what they like.
Right.
I have literally been places, and I have a girlfriend that's like real slim, petite.
Right.
I get no traction, no action. They own her, and I'm not gonna lie. Like, as women, we all want to be admired. I don't care what any woman says. Like, we love the attention of men. I do. So, but you have to just understand, people just like what they like.
Right.
And at the end of the day, like, if you're confident that overshines anything.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I totally understand
Yeah,
that.
and people can feel that, but you have to just understand it may not be thick bitch day.
It may not be.
It may be skinny bitch day, or
it may be slim thick.
It may be slim thick day, and it's just like, but you can't hate on your girls like for who's getting attention.
I would totally agree.